Hey, everyone. Welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. Got an awesome guest today who thinks in design and builds in code. She's a Vancouver-based front-end engineer, and for 7 years has worked in tech at enterprises, startups, agencies, and consultancies. Her background in UX makes her an engineer that can bridge the gap between design, engineering, and product to build things pragmatically. Please join me in welcoming Tori Zhao. Welcome, Tori.
Thank you, Thomas. Hi, everyone. This is Tori here.
Ready for your 20 questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here we go. Number one, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
So this is actually the most difficult question to answer on the list because I'm still trying to define myself. As Thomas mentioned, I started working tech as a designer, so I do UX, UI stuff and also UX research. But then I started to transition to software engineering just about 2 years ago, and I was mostly doing front end. And during the process, because I worked at different types of companies like consulting firm and startups and enterprise companies, and basically my responsibility was all over the place. So sometimes I'm acting as a PM, sometimes I'm a designer, sometimes I'm a developer, and I like sometimes I even do all of them together. So I'm still trying to define myself because I can do so many things, and I'm trying to find a direction where I can really focus my energy on, and really trying to create the next, I don't know, awesome product or company or whatever it is.
Awesome. Just to know for our audience, Tori and I met, I think maybe 7 or 8 years ago. We were working on a freelance project together here in Vancouver for a client in Northern Canada.
Right.
Question two is, what's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
I think the key piece of knowledge came from my background because I was growing up in China until 18 years old, and I came to Canada. I went to college here, and then after that, I went to the States, worked there for 2 years, and then I was digital nomading for a while until the whole COVID lockdown happened. So I came back to Canada. So you can see where I was like traveling everywhere. I was working under different cultures. I lived in 3 different countries, and all these life experience basically fills into my work and my projects and how I interact with people, and I think that makes me stand out the most when I'm talking to most of the people around me.
Great. Yeah, great. Number three, why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? That's a very interesting question. I guess first of all, I to be very honest, I don't really have an answer, and that's why I'm trying to figure out at this moment in my life. As I mentioned, I have so many experience around like in different countries, different companies. I was like doing all kinds of jobs, um, but I don't know where I'm going. So yeah, this is a question like to be answered by myself.
That's super cool. Recently, we had a guest, Gagan Diaz, on the show whose job title is on sabbatical, but it's not a typical academic sabbatical, but it's a personal one where he's trying to find his way, and he has a design background as well. I feel like that's a path that many people are taking these days.
Right. It's really cool.
Question four: what does your future look like?
Um, I think this is a very cool question because I think this is a question for all of us. So it should be like, what does our future look like? Because as we notice, there's so many things happening around the world, and there's so many technology breakthrough in the past year. There was crypto, there was Web3. I actually worked in Web3 for a year, and now, like, if you pay attention to the most updated trend in tech, there's AI just came up, ChatGPT, which is really cool. Is basically like the Jarvis you see from the Marvel movies, and I think our future, like as a human being, our future would be very interesting, and there's a lot of like potentials to create many awesome things, but there's also many, I don't know, like dangerous things happening because we don't know where these technologies are going. This is on a very macro level. I think this is what I'm thinking about all day. So to answer your question, again, there's a lot of uncertainty. I would say I don't know, and as a group, as a human being, we don't know. We just need to follow the trend, and we need to work together and see what happens.
I'm reminded of a somewhat recent guest from the academic world, Dr. Marco Bevolo, who asked me. He said, "Can I make my episode about futures?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, of course." And so he had a very focused kind of conversation around futures. Definitely check out that episode if you're interested in this topic. Number 5 is a question that I say is unique to this podcast. The question is, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
The notion of place, I don't know, like I mentioned, my life experience is very, I would say, somewhat unique compared to most people, because probably most of you stayed in one place or travel to a few different places, but you usually live in one place for a very long time. My life is like all over the place. So I was living under different cultures. I speak multiple languages. I was working in different companies under different cultures, which add up to the complexity. So I know, like, the notion of place, to me, it really means that it expand my life. So at this point in my life, like, I'm in my early 30s, and after the whole COVID thing, it's pretty much wrapped up. I'm still looking to expand new life experience. I'm still looking for new places to live, to experience. And I think that's really something I ultimately want to do in my life, which is just keep expanding my experiences.
Nice. And you were in the Bay Area at one point, right?
Yeah, I was there for 2 years.
Nice. And that was pre-pandemic.
Yeah, that was pre-pandemic. After that, I was in Beijing, and during the pandemic, I'm here in Canada. So after this, I don't know where I'm going.
Nice. Number 6, if you had to start from the beginning, what advice would you give your former younger self?
I would say this is my favorite question from the list. Because this is a question I've been thinking over and over again in the past 2 or 3 weeks. Because the whole time during my 20s, I was pretty much trying to figure out myself. And the biggest advice I will give my former self, or anyone out there, especially young people, is that don't don't think too much about what other people think of you, because like other people's opinion doesn't matter. Like, you really need to figure out who you are, where you're going to, what your interests are, and what passion do you have. Like, I know this sounds so, like, everyone talks about passion and all that, but it's really true, because don't chase anything else than your passion. Don't chase anything else than your true self. And this is really, really important, because I think I wasted a few years because I wasn't doing the things that's true to myself, until I realized that, oh, it's a total waste of time. It doesn't matter if it's like a highest paying job, or it's like the most exciting opportunity in the industry. It really doesn't matter if it's not fitting what you really want to do in your life.
Nice. I like that answer. You know, the podcast is very much a passion project for me, but it's fully consuming. I mean, it's something that takes up the majority of my time, but somehow with all the different pieces around the career kind of falling into place, it works. So it's interesting. I like your answer.
Thank you.
Number 7, what's a day in your life like?
This is also another interesting question, because I recently trying to so what I'm focusing on my life right now is transitioning from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. So long story short, I've always been working in tech. I was, like I mentioned, at different jobs. But after like later this year, I was starting a project with 2 of my best friends. And then this is where a day in my life totally became something different. So before that, just as everyone working tech, my life was like, oh, like I wake up around 8 a.m. in the morning, make some coffee, and 10 a.m. Like, if you work in tech, you always have like a stand-up meeting, and then you go off, like, do your work. In the afternoon, you maybe have a few meetings with your managers or colleagues, and that goes for the day. But when you're transitioning into an entrepreneur life, I would say every day is totally different. And you have to, there's so many stress in life. There's so many things you have to plan out because you don't have a boss anymore. Like nobody's gonna give you tasks and whatsoever. You have to figure out. So my day becomes like the good thing is I'm completely flexible right now because I can control my time. I can decide what to work on at what time. But the thing is there's like an endless to-do list. So for example, yesterday I was having meetings with my co-founders until like 12 a.m. So that was pretty it's exciting, it's interesting, but for most people it takes some time for you to, you know, really like go through the transition. So just to answer your question, my life every day in my life is different right now, and I really enjoy that.
Nice. I don't often plug myself, but I have some backstory. Before I started the podcast, I was a guest on a few podcasts, I guess 6 or 7 of them. One of them was called Canada's Podcast, and it was about entrepreneurship. In a way, I don't want to push you towards that because it was really early days for me, but that one was a popular one. Definitely check that out if you want more background about the podcast. Number 8, lifelong learning is a popular topic. How do you stay up to date?
You know, like among the people I know, like my friends and colleagues, I was always considered as the person who always stayed on top of the trend, and people usually ask me how I do that. The answer is I'm one of those people who just live on the internet. I'm like 24 hours on the internet. Like you can see me on Twitter, you see me on Instagram everywhere, and I just nonstop checking everything into my like coming to my feed, and I kind of just um, I know some people say like don't addict to social media and this and that, but I kind of just develop a system, I would say, to help me to stay up on top of everything, especially the trending tech. Like for example, the whole Chat GPT thing recently, which really became the hottest topic. And I guess you just have to figure out for yourself. Like I know some people use a like set up a system for themselves. For example, like use RSS feed to subscribe to their favorite blogger. Some people just like focus on, you know, trying to filter out contents that really be interested to them. For people like me, I just really just read everything. And once I found something I'm really interested in, I just go deep into that topic and do a lot of research. Yeah, I guess I think everyone's overwhelmed by information these days, and you just have to develop a system that really works for yourself. There's a lot of research and tips online on how do you do this. So I suggest everyone just to go do your research, develop your own system, and then you can focus on getting the information that really fits your needs.
That's a great answer. I'm on social media so much, and I would say the majority of our guests that respond in this way say, don't be on your mobile phone all the time, get off your phone, get off the internet. But I would really be cut off if I did that. So yeah, I'm with
Right.
you. Use
Yeah.
it, but use it well. Number 9, what tools do you use? Are you a digital nomad or are you analog as well?
I am definitely a digital nomad. So digital nomading is actually the one of the trend that I discovered back in the I think around 2016 or 2017. And that is actually the biggest reason why I left Bay Area, because I figured that I don't want a office job like 9 to 5 sitting in the office. It doesn't matter how high it pays. I want to go out in the world, traveling around. And there was a very famous digital nomad community on the internet. I'm not going to name it. I guess everyone just knows about it these days. And I joined the community and I left Bay Area. I was traveling around Southeast Asia for about a year until the whole COVID lockdown happens. And that's why I stopped my digital nomad journey. But during that time, I was working for three different startups as a consultant, and I was also like doing trainings for the UX team for different startups. So that was a very interesting experience. Like I think digital nomading is definitely it's awesome, and it really pushes your boundary. It really show the world to you. So I encourage everyone to try it out. Like don't feel like it's difficult or it's impossible to do. Just like do some research and try to find the opportunity, jump on the ship and just do it.
Great answer. We're halfway now. Number 10, how do you deal with work-life balance?
Who? My answer is there's no work-life balance. Yeah, because I don't know, everyone talk about work-life balance. Of course, you need to like stay on top of your mental health. You need to, be healthy and all that. Um, I don't know. It's probably different to everyone. Like for those people who have children, they probably want some time to, set some time aside from work to spend with their children and all that. For me, it's really like I'm plugging into technology and internet 24 hours, and I really enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy it. And even though I'm not quote unquote working, I'm still browsing Twitter. I'm still, trying to talk to people working in tech and trying to, learn about the new stuff. I don't know if it defines as work or life. I think to me it's both. Like work is life and life is work. And I don't think this is a problem for me. So I'm probably not like my answers probably doesn't fit most of the people. I don't know. I'm probably unique or not. I'm not sure.
Nice. Are you on Mastodon?
Sorry, what's that?
Are you on Mastodon?
Oh,
Yeah,
I am. I am. I have accounts. Yeah,
that's cool.
I set up account like 2 years ago or something when I started to know about the service.
Just a note, at the time of this recording, Elon Musk kind of somewhat recently took over Twitter, and there's been this shift to find other places to be. Um, let's see here. Number 11, if you weren't doing what you do now, what would you be doing?
Um, Very interesting question. I've been thinking that for a while. I would say I enjoy what I'm doing right now, but I've always looking to have more possibility in life. I have, I graduated from art school, so actually, a few people I know they eventually became artists and do working on their cool object and projects and all that. So, um, if I weren't doing what I'm doing now, I actually want to try to become an artist. I don't know, like I never really think through that path, but I always think, oh, what would it be like if I'm an artist? So yeah, you never know. Maybe like 5 years from now, I'll become an artist or something.
Nice. Yeah, my dad's an art world photographer. We can chat about that if you want. Number 12, what would you not like to do in terms of career?
Um, I don't want to do 9 to 5 jobs anymore. I'm I became a really mission driven person in the recent 2 to 3 years because of what's been happening in the world. Before that, I pretty much I didn't know how important it is to me to have a mission driven career path or basically anything I'm doing. So yeah, I would love to be very honest, like because of what's happening right now, I really want to do something that's to do good to the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know that sounds so cliche again. Like when I was younger, I was like, oh, this is just some BS like people talk about all day. But now I'm like, I really, really want to do that. So yeah.
13, what's your favorite word, quote, or sentence?
I think that's another hard question because there's so many quotes out there. I'll just pick I'll pick momentum as the favorite word. Because I was chatting with a friend today and we talked about how how to build up a how to build up a momentum for you to keep going in life. How do you not too stuck in where you're right now, and how do you keep pushing yourself? And we came up with the concept of momentum, just like keep doing what you're doing at the moment. Maybe there's no instant like feedback, or maybe like nobody is giving you any positive feedback on what you're doing, but that's completely fine. Just keep up with the momentum and just do it.
How about a least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
um Least favorite word, again, there's so many of them. I don't have an answer for this because there's so many of them. Like if you go on tech Twitter, there's so many people, shooting out words these days that's like me pretty much means nothing, but people are following like quote unquote the trend. and try to, make money out of it, or try to, build up like a fake hype that doesn't really do good to the world, and just like have people chasing them. So these are the people I really don't like, and these are the words I really don't like when I see them on internet. So I'm not gonna name these.
And if you had to pick one word to describe yourself, what word would you choose?
I would choose the word foggy. I know that might sound weird, but as I mentioned, I'm in a stage of my life where I had some accomplishment, and I'm happy where I am, but I'm also trying to figure out like my true self, like what I'm going next, and how can I maximize my potential to contribute to the world, contribute to society, and really just be happy with who I really am. So this is where I'm right now, like foggy, and I hope to, have the word change in the future.
16, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? I would say everything happening around the world. If there's something happening, I'm always checking out, and I'm always thinking about what does it mean to me, to us as human beings. So yeah.
Final stretch here, number 17, what's a dream you're chasing?
To be really who I am.
What inspires you?
Truth.
Any advice you'd like to share?
I think nobody needs advice. Like that would be my answer. Like you just have to do your own research, and that's your advice given to yourself.
It's good. I like that. And number 20, which is the self-promotional one. How can our listeners keep tabs on you? How should we follow you? How do you want us to have a call to action from all this?
I'm active on Twitter. If you search, I think I just used the handle Tori, and my avatar is actually AI generated image. You will see from the list of people, and yeah, just feel free to go to Twitter, and I'm happy to talk to everyone.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Tori. I mean, I think when we were working together, freelancing on that project, you were still a student then. And now, I can really feel how far you've come, and, you've kind of ascended, and it's magical to see it happen. So I'm so glad to reconnect with you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much.